Man, y'all are getting some pretty bad advice out there.
Don't believe everything you see on the internet.
Well, it's on the internet. It must be true.
Right.
Seriously, though, we have seen some pretty bad advice being given, specifically on Facebook, some on YouTube. And we want to talk today about 10 pieces of bad advice that we've seen you guys get and what to believe and what not to. But before we get into any of that, I want to say thank you to our subscribers. We have reached 1,000 subscribers.
Yay.
And I want to send a special shout out to RVing with Luck. There'll be a link to his channel right here. You guys need to go check him out and give him some love, because the man who has been a subscriber of ours for quite some time actually put out a short promoting our channel. RVing with Luck, thank you, man. Now, for those of you new around here, and apparently there are quite a few of you, I'm Felix.
And I'm Cindy.
And in 2019, we sold everything, climbed into our RV, and hit the road full time.
We have been across the country 3 times
3 times.
with our Bucky and 2 cats, Hazel and Onyx, and we're following my nursing contracts. I'm a travel nurse, so we go somewhere wherever I'm going to be working for 3 to 6 months.
Now, let's talk about some of the really bad advice that's being given out there. We're going to give you 10 things. That last one is the absolute worst and can actually cause you to get hurt. Number 10, you don't need RV-specific insurance.
Yeah, it'll just get your regular car insurance.
Yeah, that'll cover it. And the other part of that is you don't need full-timers insurance, even though you're full-time. Now, we've seen people actually say, just lie to your insurance company, insure your RV, and tell them that you just use it occasionally. Not a good idea.
No, you could get in some big money trouble that way.
Yeah. I mean, something happens to your RV while you're out on the road and they find out that you are full-time, you're not covered. And there are only a few, we talked about this in a previous video, I don't remember which one, but there are only a few insurance companies that cover full-time RV living. The ones that immediately come to mind are Geico, Progressive, and National General, which is the one that we use. Just don't do it. Simply don't do it. Get RV coverage that is specific to your situation.
You don't want something to happen on the road, and God forbid you see all these terrible accidents that people have, and then your RV's totaled, you're full-time, that's your home, and you're not covered. Number 9 is just skip that RV orientation. When you buy your RV, they walk you through it and stuff. You don't need that. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, piece of cake.
No. You want to walk through that RV. First of all, you want to make sure everything works. They should show you that the water's working, the electricity's working, the heat's working, the propane is working, your air conditioner's working, everything, anything that moves, you need to make sure that all of that works. But you need to be sure that you pay attention, that you listen to everything they're saying, ask all the questions. You're paying these people for this RV a pretty penny. So be sure and ask all of your questions. We have a DVD player and a fireplace and big TV and all these things that you need to know how they work. So be sure, go through that orientation. I know you're anxious to get in your RV and get started and move and all that. You will be sorry if you miss that orientation, because you're going to get on the road, get parked up somewhere, and not have a clue what you're doing.
Which, I mean, that happened to us not once, but twice. When we bought our first RV, we were about as green as you can get, and we took it on our first test run, which was to Charlotte, and which only about 3 hours away. And we parked it in the RV park. I did all the hookups. Everything was great. And the following day, we wanted to take a shower before we went to the Queen concert that we were there for. and we couldn't figure out how to get cold hot water. Well, we were fortunate in that we called the dealer, and they walked us through what had happened was the camper had been winterized, and we needed to de-winterize it, which was basically just turning a valve and turning on the water system. Just don't miss the orientation, and as a matter of fact, bring your phone. It's going to be with you anyway. Record it.
That way, if you forget something, you can go back and look at that video and see what they actually said about whatever particular part it is.
Number 8 is, it's fine. Put whatever you want in your RV storage compartments.
Anything you need to take with you, just cram it in there.
Just cram it in there. You'll get it. Don't worry about it. Wrong. Okay, first of all, many of the RV storage compartments are in the front of the rig, which is going to really mess with your weight distribution. You're going to, especially if you're cramming stuff in there and just overloading it, it can really mess with your weight distribution.
And I'd imagine even the ones on the sides, if you put a lot of heavy stuff on one side and you don't have a storage compartment on the other side, you're going to have a problem.
Exactly. Now, on this rig, we have a storage compartment right behind us, and we have a compartment on that side, but it's the kitchen. It's the outdoor kitchen. So we really can't put much in there. And if we overload this side, it can really screw up your weight distribution. You could end up all over the place. Don't overload your storage compartments. If you're a camper and you're somebody who's going out weekend warrior or whatever, just take what you need.
Number 7 is you can use any hose that you buy at the store for your drinking water. A lot of people just say, any old hose will do. Just get one for your sewer, one for your, oh, please, get one for your sewer and one for your drinking water. You don't want to use the same one. Gross.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people will talk about, oh, I grew up drinking out of the water hose in my backyard. Me too. But first of all, these hoses aren't made of the same stuff anymore, and you're getting carcinogens in drinking out of a regular garden hose. Camco makes a hose specifically for RV potable water. There are several others that you can see that are marked specifically for drinking water. Don't use just a regular hose, and as Cindy said, for God's sake, use a separate hose for your black tank rinse. Number 6, just park your RV any way you need to for an overnight. You'll be fine.
Let's pull over to the side of the road.
Yeah, you'll be fine right up until you hear the on the door, and it's the police telling you, get out of here. Oh, and by the way, here's your ticket. If you're going to try a Walmart, make sure ahead of time that they accept overnight parking. There are less and less of them accepting it. And you got the Cabela's, you've got Cracker Barrel, you've got all these other overnight parking spots that you've heard about in other RV YouTube videos. Just make sure ahead of time that it's okay. Call the manager of the store and ask them.
And be sure you talk to someone in charge.
Yeah.
Not just a cashier who may or may not know what the real rules are.
Exactly. And also, you cannot park your RV on the street. There are very, very, very few places that would allow you to do that. Know the rules. Don't put yourself in a situation where you're going to get fined or worse, towed.
Number 5, you can run your generator all night. You need it. You got to have your electricity while you're sleeping, so
no problem.
Run it all night. No big deal.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of complaints on Facebook about generators.
Yeah.
It's kind of inconsiderate.
Yeah, and especially if you're in a nice wilderness, boondocking place, and you're out there and you're communing with nature, and then all of a sudden you hear, no, nobody wants that. Okay? If you need to start your generator to charge your batteries, or to maybe for a little while turn on your air conditioner, fine. Don't run your generator all night. Don't be that disturbance in the RV park or in the boondocking spot.
You'll hear from your neighbors probably.
Oh yeah. Number 4, don't worry about it. You don't need to level your RV. It'll be fine. You just you might have to put up with a little bit of shaking and so on, but just level it. Nah. Yes, you do. If you have a propane refrigerator, a refrigerator that runs on electric and propane, your refrigerator may not work if your RV is out of whack. Your doors won't work properly. When we first got here, I didn't have it really dialed in as far as leveling, and because of our day from hell, and our bathroom door wouldn't even close. I had to slam our outside door to get it to close. I tweaked the leveling the next day, and everything's fine. Level your RV. If you're going to unhitch from your RV, always level your RV.
And from a medical standpoint, you do not want to sleep with your feet higher than your head. That's dangerous, especially if you have any kind of heart issues. But anybody doesn't need to sleep with their head down, their feet up. Even just a small angle can make a difference, because your heart needs that level to push blood out to your body. And your vascular system...
This is a nurse, folks.
Your vascular system needs that level to maintain fluid balance in your body. You could over-congest your chest. You could have more fluid in your chest than is in your extremities, and it could cause lung and heart issues, even for a night. And then the next morning you wake up, you stand up, and you pass out because all that blood and fluid that was at the top of your body, you stand up and it all rushes to the bottom. Just avoid it altogether by making sure that you are at least level the way
side to side.
Yeah, the way that your bed goes. If it goes this way or if it goes this way.
Oh, yeah, or end. Yeah.
Make sure that your bed is level so that your feet and your head are at the same height.
And just so you know, we've got a sleeping dog here who is actually snoring. So if I can get that on camera, I will.
Number 3, you don't need to plan your route. Just get in your truck, hook everything up, and just go. You'll find some place to park. There'll be RV parks along the way you can stop at.
And the roads will be fine.
Yeah.
It's just, don't worry about it. Now, just bear in mind, folks, these are all actual pieces of advice that we have seen given. Yes, plan your route.
If you're going to be going if you're going to be going more than one day's travel, especially, you need to make sure you have somewhere to stay in between. And of course, your destination you want to make sure of. We always make sure we have an RV spot before I even sign a contract. That way, we're not stuck sitting in a hospital parking lot with our rig and not being able to hook up to anything. So it is important. I mean, of course, it's adventure. You want to do things on the fly, but dial that back a little bit. Make sure you know where you're going and that you're going to have a place to park, even if it's an overnight at a Cracker Barrel or whatever.
Yeah, which, going back to our previous point, call any overnight spots that you want to stay at ahead of time to make sure everything's okay, that you have a spot. Also, if you don't plan, who knows what road you're going to end up on. And you could have, these are very high vehicles. You could end up putting yourself in a bad situation with overpasses. Plan your route. Number 2, listen, if you're hooked up to a sewer, why do you need to close your black tank? Just leave everything open and just let it flow right into the sewer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's actual arguments I've seen on Facebook
absolutely.
about people saying, no, leave it closed. No, leave it open. No, leave it closed.
Hey, now, I had the first RV ever made. I've been on the road for 327 years, and I have never closed my black tanks. I never have a problem. Bull. Absolute crap. Okay? Crap. Leave your black tanks closed. This is not a septic system. This is not a sewer system. What you have underneath your RV is essentially a big Tupperware container that you dump all of your waste into. And if you leave it open, there's only one thing that's going to happen. The liquids are all going to flow out, and the solids are going to stay in. And you are going to end up with the world famous poop pyramid. And that's no fun, folks. Guaranteed that's going to be no fun.
That will ruin your weekend if you're out for the weekend.
That'll ruin your weekend. That'll ruin your whole RV experience. Just don't open your black tanks until you're ready to empty them. Now, the argument will go on forever whether or not to leave your gray tanks open. We do, and we've not had a problem. But truth of the matter is, it's only liquid going into those. So that's going to flow out. And it should be only liquid going into your gray tanks.
Yes.
Don't leave your black tanks open until you're ready to empty them.
Number one, and this is the one that we talked about, could really get you hurt. It ruin your RV, really hurt your tow vehicle.
And get somebody else hurt.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. The myth is, the bad advice is, it doesn't matter about your weight limit.
Don't worry about it.
Just put whatever you want to in there, load it up. Load up your truck, load up your trailer, load up your RV, load up everything.
And this is somewhere where I want to throw in a little bit more advice here. Don't listen to people on Facebook about what your truck can and can't tow. Find it out for yourself. We did a video on how to find that out. You can check it out here. If you don't want to look at our video about it, there's plenty of videos on YouTube that will tell you how to calculate the weight of your RV and your truck and whether they're compatible. Do it yourself. Don't rely on anybody on Facebook to say, oh, no, you need a F350 with a 900 power diesel engine and it. No.
And don't listen to those that say your little Subaru Tracker will pull a whole RV either.
Oh, yeah, and we've seen that too. As a matter of fact, when we were leaving Tucson back in 2020, we got on the interstate, and the very, very first incline that we came to on the interstate, I think it was going into Texas, there was a minivan trying to pull an RV about the same size as ours that we were pulling with an F-250. This poor guy literally had his hazard lights on and was crawling up this incline. I had no idea if they made it or not. I went right past them. She went right past them with her chase vehicle. And so I have no idea what the results there were. But quite honestly, it looked like they weren't going to make it up the incline.
Mm-hmm.
And just, bottom line, don't take anyone's advice on what your tow vehicle can and can't tow. Figure it out for yourself. It's really not that hard. And something I gave advice on in one of our previous videos is anybody who gives advice that starts with, I heard. No, don't bother.
That's a New York thing.
Yeah, this. Don't bother with it. If you've got somebody who's actually giving you actual experience, something that they personally experienced, fine. But if it starts with, I've heard, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week. And again, thanks to our subscribers for bringing us up to 1,000.